Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So we've got a little bit of everything in this video. Some of it will cover a few stories from last week. But to start off with, I just want to give a bit of an update from my last video, Meghan in Paris, because the backlash has been immense. There are so many people that are honestly disgusted with this stunt that she's done, with many people believing that it was intentional. But her whole Paris trip has somewhat backfired on her, and it's because of a culmination of things. People have obviously ridiculed her for having such a silly walk, with comparisons to that of Zoolander. It was the fact that she was walking into a fashion show like it was her show. She just had this aura of pure arrogance as she walked in and out of these various places. There's been a video shared of her being ignored by Dame Kristen Scott Thomas, because she was in the middle of a conversation with another woman. Meghan has interjected herself by the looks of it, and Dame Kristen was basically having none of it. You've also got Meghan being caught on camera laughing when a model took a tumble. Surprisingly, the person that called her out for this being not nice behaviour was actually Charlotte Griffiths, the editor-at-large at the Daily Mail. So that shocked me somewhat.
At one point she sat on the front row and a model tripped and she burst out laughing. And then she realised that was obviously quite a cruel thing to do, so she sort of covered it up.
But as more photographs were shared and posted across social media, a lot more people started looking at Meghan's behaviour, and they also noticed she was also walking around doing a lot of this. Now, this is a gesture Diana was known for doing quite a lot, and also the black dress, which didn't look like this from the front, but from behind it's very reminiscent of a Diana dress that she wore on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. So all of this combined together, the backlash that she has received for multiple things has been pretty intense. Now, her team have naturally come out fighting, because guess what? Meghan is of course a victim in all of this, and she is a victim of the UK media, whose sources close to her have said that it's actually the media that have been insensitive, not Meghan, to draw comparisons from her Instagram video to Diana's death. Of course it was. It's the British media's fault. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up as well is because Harry has appeared in the media at the exact same time. Harry has reportedly got a stalker who came very close to him recently, not once but twice, when he was in the UK. Now, funnily enough, it happens to be a member of the Sussex squad that they've now got on their watch list. She apparently has followed them all over and made an appearance in Nigeria, and she was more recently in the UK with Harry's 4-day whirlwind trip. It was reported in one incident she was hiding in the toilets of a hotel that had already been swept by Met Police, I'd like to point out. So he still does have Met Police when he gives them enough notice, but his security, it's been reported, had to step in, and they didn't even know if she had a weapon. Well, clearly she didn't have a weapon, but that's literally what you pay security for. Now, whilst I'm sure it must be deeply unpleasant to have someone that is classified as stalker turn up at your events, this happens to lots of famous people. From my understanding, she hasn't threatened to hurt Harry. She is just following him like a bit of a groupie. She's fangirling him. But the reason why I think this is significant, because it's just at the exact same time that Meghan is reminding the world about Diana's untimely death in a tunnel. And what's also suspicious, this apparent Sussex squad fan that is now Harry's stalker, she lives in the United States, and Harry and Meghan always tell people their itinerary, don't they? They don't act like a couple that is concerned for their safety. They give a big announcement of where they're going to be, because I guess it's in hope that they will have a large crowd that turns up. But she only got close to Harry dangerously, he barely escaped with his life, twice in the UK, where he has been fighting the UK government, His Majesty's government, for the last, 3-4 years now, to have his full taxpayer-funded security reinstated. So it was on the UK home soil that these incidents almost never happened. I'm sorry, I'm just smelling New York car chase all over again. Now, moving on to the next story, we have the news that Prince William managed to raise 24 million with various fundraising to go towards the Earthshot Prize, which is happening on the 5th of November this year in Rio de Janeiro. I wish I could go out there and follow it, to be honest with you. What a beautiful country. Brazil is definitely on the list. But 24 million in one financial year, that is truly incredible. And when more recently, we've had so many members of the press, haven't we? Even authors, apparently, who were friends with the late Princess Diana, moaning about his underwhelming performance, his lack of work ethics, because he doesn't attend as many engagements as his father. Well, all I can say is that they can stick that in their pipe and smoke it. This is just one project that Prince William dedicates a lot of his time to. I would rather have Prince William do less ribbon cutting and actually spend time on creating wonderful projects, initiatives, whether it's Homewards, where he's trying to end homelessness. The fact is that he spends a lot of time, not necessarily on screen and giving interviews, but a lot of time working with teams of people to make this a huge success. So I thought that was great news to share. Now, in some sad news last week, the animal kingdom suffered quite a loss, and that is Dr. Jane Goodall, who sadly passed away at the age of 91. I say Dr. Jane, she was also made a dame as well, because she specialized in the study of chimpanzees, and most of what we know about the primates now, anything from their behavior, how their family and social structures work, even the knowledge that chimpanzees make and use their own tools. This all came from the incredible research and studying that Jane Goodall dedicated her life to. She really was an incredible woman that's lived an incredible life. Now, the reason why I bring her up in royal news is because those two over in Montecito like to inject themselves into any storyline that is coming out. But of course, this was given to People magazine, and it was naturally about them. Dr. Jane Goodall was a visionary humanitarian scientist, friend to the planet and friend to us. She held our son Archie when he was first born and showered love and care to those who were privileged to know her. Well, funnily enough, in an interview with People magazine in July 2020, she set the record straight regarding Harry. She said, "There's all this stuff about being best friends, which is absolutely stupid. We are not best friends. I've only met them 3 times. It's so silly." So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, from the horse's mouth, as it were. So Harry and Meghan, to get into the headlines, had to come up with a cutesy story of how she held their newborn son just so they could act like she was some sort of long-term family friend, and it enabled them to give a public statement. Why are they giving a public statement at all, considering that they are just 2 private citizens? Now, in a story that I was very excited to talk about, this was the one where I had the Top Gun theme tune playing in the back of my head, and I reckon Tom Cruise is even more excited to spend time with Catherine now that she has been in the cockpit of a fighter jet. Catherine, Princess of Wales, in her role as Royal Honorary Air Commodore, paid a visit to the RAF Coningsby and had everybody gobsmacked again on the internet at how gracefully she can climb down from a Typhoon fighter jet in dainty stilettos. This is up there, and it near enough got as many views as Catherine quickly swishing her hair around into that perfect little bun. People were playing this video over and over. She is just so graceful. She's so lovely. And the lovely pilot that was actually giving her a tour of the fighter jet clearly thought so as well. And who can blame him for that? I think most of us would probably be looking at Catherine or William in the exact same way. Whilst Catherine was on the base, she also revealed that Prince Louis wants to be a fighter pilot. And I love this. This is perfect. We've got Prince Louis that wants to be a rock star. He's playing drums and he's going to be a fighter pilot as well. I think this is just the perfect career path for such an adventurous and delightful little boy. He'll probably change his mind 1,000 times between now and when he gets old enough to do it, but he does have pilot's blood in his veins, both sides. Yes, Catherine's grandfather, Captain Peter Middleton, and Prince William's grandfather, Prince Philip, were both RAF pilots in World War II, and in a bit of extra royal serendipity, they were actually paired together for 2 months when they flew across South America. I always find that link genuinely fascinating between the two families. If only those men had known. Catherine, of course, took a tour of the base and spent time learning about the station's operations, meeting various personnel and their families, which led to a very cute moment when the princess had to explain why she wasn't in a princess dress to some adorable children who had been waiting to meet her wearing their finest attire. I love how Catherine is with children, how children are just flocking to her. She obviously gives off really fun mummy vibes. The children, even though they've just met her, they just seem to love her, and the same with Prince William. And I always say, children and animals, they are a brilliant barometer if someone is a good person. And the chances are, if a dog or a small child isn't so keen on someone, they're picking up on a vibe that genuinely makes them feel uncomfortable. Now, unfortunately, we will be having another appearance soon from Harry and Meghan, who are going to be collecting a humanitarian award, which I just find honestly disgraceful. It goes to show how far removed they are from being a member of the royal family, because royals give awards to other people. These two collect them like scouts collect their badges, but the big difference is scouts genuinely earn their badges by learning skills, by doing genuine good deeds for others. So as for them collecting an award for being humanitarians, it's all to do with child safety on the internet. And with Meghan appearing recently, promoting the Balenciaga fashion house, it seems to be in direct conflict. But what's new? She had Chrissy Teigen on her With Love Meghan show, who was cancelled for targeting a 16-year-old girl, telling her to take a dirt nap. And then, of course, you've got Harry and Meghan's Sussex Squad fan base, who Harry is apparently learning some of them actually aren't that nice, but they have targeted content creators, families and their children. Again, this is not all of them, but some of them are capable of doing the sickest stuff and saying the absolute vile, most vile things on the internet. And Harry and Meghan have only ever supported them and never once called them out. Anytime they do stunts like this, it's a good reminder. Members of the royal family do not reward themselves. So speaking of collecting awards and royals actually bestowing awards, there was one particular award that was given that I want to bring up. And this was definitely a deserved knighthood. And this was given for services to drama to the legend, the acting legend, which is Gary Oldman. I have loved this man in so many films. He's such an incredibly talented actor. One of my favourites will always forever be Bram Stoker's Dracula. Even now, if I watch that film, and trust me, I've watched it a lot, when he says that line of, "I've crossed oceans of time to find you." Oh, it makes me go all giddy and all swoony. He really, really was attractive in that film. But he's got such an incredible career, and I loved seeing the interactions between Prince William and Gary Oldman, who revealed that he's a huge fan of Slow Horses, a TV series which is on Apple TV. And he even joked that he wants to give his character in the series a really good wash. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't jump at the chance of Prince William giving you some sort of a wash? Now, speaking of Apple TV, I watched it. I got round to watching The Reluctant Traveller with Eugene Levy. And you know what? It was brilliant. I remember him from Splash all those years ago, showing my age, but he was in Schitt's Creek. But more famously, I think for me, because I'm the same age as Prince William, it was the American Pie films. He was absolutely hilarious. But he came across so well now in this show that I actually decided, rather than use a freebie, I've got 3 months of Apple because I want to watch the rest of this travel show. He was delightful. He was funny, and I love the conversations between him and Prince William. And I'm not going to review it because I don't want to spoil it, but you can do what I did and go onto Google and just have a look and see if anybody is offering. They do 7-day trials of Apple, and then you could just get it for 7 days and binge watch this episode because it really is good. I understand why so many people were praising it. I also understand why so many people were sulky about it that were, I would say, big fans of Harry and Meghan. You had Chris Shipp, who had the opportunity to interview Eugene Levy about the success of the show, which is topping the charts all around the world. And he was like, why didn't you bring up Harry and Meghan? Well, you told you couldn't bring up Harry and Meghan. And Eugene, so classy in his response, basically turned around and said, I didn't think Prince William would be interested. I'm not interested. And I don't think the public would be interested. I just thought, well done. I think the reason why Prince William came across so natural in it is because Eugene didn't have an angle. He was just genuinely asking him normal questions about his life, about his family, about big things that have happened, obviously, with the King and Catherine going through cancer. He asked them about the children. There are some cute stories in there. There's some lovely scenes and footage that's been shared of the Queen and Prince Philip, Princess Diana and King Charles. And it was just an uplifting program. There's so many programs that are so miserable now. And this genuinely had me smiling from start to finish. And even my husband, who's really not into anything to do with the royal family, he just switches off. He's not interested at all. He even sat there watching it. He enjoyed it as well. Both of them, William and Eugene, they gelled. They had a lovely time. And it was just a really good show. So if you do get the opportunity to watch it, I really would highly recommend that one. So to finish off the video, there is a very good chance that the royal family have been flipping the invisible middle finger over at Harry, because last week, I think it was the weekend previously, where stories came out that Harry said the men in grey were the ones that were causing his relationship with his father to dissolve. It's the men in grey's fault. It's either the British media, it's the men in grey. But all throughout last week, the King, Catherine, the Duchess of Gloucester, the Princess Royal, Prince William, they were all seen wearing a rather lot of grey. And I know there could be just a coincidence because everybody's thinking about it. Of course, you know, it's quite normal to wear grey suits, but the fact that so many of them that were wearing it in the same week, there's a bit of me that just really likes to think it was them trolling Harry. And you know what? After everything he's done, I think it was a classy bit of trolling by the royals. So well played. Anyway, guys, that's it for me on this video, and I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.